drive suddenly interrupted by someone aggressively trying to cut in? It's such a frustrating moment, right? Well, in today's story, we have a reckless road rager who thought they could do just that. But things didn't go as planned. The traffic was moving steadily and everyone was following the flow, but this one driver decided the rules didn't apply to them. You know the type: constant swerving, no signaling, and acting like they own the road. They zoomed forward, trying to force their way into traffic, but here's where it gets good. The surrounding drivers weren't having it. Instead of letting this dangerous driver through, they worked together, calmly closing the gaps and blocking every attempt. The road rager got more desperate, but no matter how hard they tried, the other drivers just kept holding their ground. How satisfying is that? Makes you wonder, what would you do if you were there? Stay calm or get frustrated? As the road rager's attempts to force their way into traffic grow more desperate, things really start to heat up. You know that moment when something catches your eye on the road and suddenly everyone else seems to be looking at it too? That's exactly what's happening here. The other drivers begin to notice the wild antics of this aggressive driver, and before long, everyone is aware that there is a full-blown scene unfolding in front of them. It's like a ripple effect. The chaos caused by the road rager starts spreading through the traffic. At first, maybe it's just a few drivers nearby who notice the erratic swerving, the constant attempts to push into any gap that seems even remotely available, but as more people take note, the tension builds, and the surrounding drivers start to work together in a way you don't often see on the road. Instead of letting the road rager have their way, the other cars close ranks, refusing to let this person break through. It's almost as if they've silently agreed. We're not going to let this reckless behavior win. You can almost picture the scene, car after car subtly adjusting their positions, making sure to keep the aggressive driver boxed in. No one's honking or shouting, it's not that kind of situation. It's more of a quiet, steady pushback, the kind of unspoken teamwork that makes you smile because it's such a satisfying response to someone trying to bully their way into traffic. The surrounding drivers aren't letting their frustration get the best of them, they're just calmly holding their ground, making sure that this road rager doesn't get the easy way out they're so desperately seeking. At this point, you can imagine the road rager's frustration bubbling over. Every attempt to cut in is met with a solid wall of cars and they're running out of options. The thing is, this isn't the kind of situation where force or aggression is going to help them. The more frantically they try to wiggle their way in, the more determined the other drivers become to block them. It's like watching someone dig themselves into a deeper and deeper hole, and the best part is that the drivers around them are doing it all with total calm and composure. Now, picture this from the road rager's perspective for a second. They thought they could get ahead and their impatience and aggression would allow them to break the rules and sneak through. But instead, they're stuck, completely at the mercy of the other drivers who are standing their ground. Every time they think they see an opening, it closes just as quickly. They must be fuming behind the wheel, gripping the steering wheel in frustration as they realize they're not going anywhere fast. Meanwhile, the other drivers continue to hold firm, their cars practically forming a barricade on the road, and the best part, it's all happening naturally, without anyone really saying a word. It's just a group of everyday people who have had enough of the reckless behavior and decided, in the most subtle way possible, that they're not going to let it slide. As more drivers notice what's going on, you can almost feel the energy shift on the road. It's no longer just about getting to their destinations, there's a shared sense of justice in keeping this road rager from breaking the rules. Everyone's in on it now, and it becomes clear that the aggressive driver is out of luck. They're not getting through, no matter how many frantic attempts they make. It's an incredible display of teamwork, even if the drivers don't know each other. At that moment, they're all working toward the same goal, maintaining the order of the road and ensuring that the person who's trying to cut corners doesn't succeed. And let's be honest, it's pretty satisfying to watch, especially if you've ever been in a situation where a road rager tries to bulldoze their way into traffic, thinking the rules don't apply to them. What's even more remarkable is how the other drivers keep their cool throughout the whole ordeal. No one's laying on their horn or making angry gestures, they're just calmly going about their business, all while making sure the road rager gets the message loud and clear. Not today. By this point, the road rager is realizing they're stuck. Their attempts to bully their way in have completely failed and they're left with no choice but to fall back in line like everyone else. It's a humbling moment for them and probably a bit embarrassing too. But for everyone else, it's a victory, a small yet powerful reminder that reckless behavior on the road doesn't always go unchecked. So, as the situation finally settles and traffic begins to flow smoothly again, the road rage is left to stew in their own frustration while the rest of the drivers move forward, undoubtedly feeling a sense of satisfaction for having stood their ground. It's one of those moments on the road where patience and teamwork win out over aggression and entitlement, and it's a story that'll make anyone who's dealt with a road rager feel just a little bit better. At one point, the road rager makes a particularly dangerous maneuver trying to squeeze into a gap that simply isn't there. For a split second, it looks like they might actually succeed, but then just as quickly as they make the move, the surrounding cars close the gap, leaving the road rager boxed in once again. It's a moment of pure satisfaction for anyone watching. It's like watching justice unfold in real time. But here's the big question. What happens next? How does the road rager finally get out of this situation? Well, after several minutes of failed attempts and rising frustration, it becomes clear that they are not going to get their way. At this point, the road rager is forced to give up on cutting in. With no other options, they reluctantly fall back into the line of traffic, waiting like everyone else. It's a fitting end to a situation that could have easily spiraled out of control, but the story doesn't end there. After the road rager finally falls back, the rest of the drivers continue on their way as if nothing happened. It's almost like they've seen it all before, and maybe they have. After all, road rage is unfortunately all too common. What's rare? Though, seeing drivers come together to block a dangerous and aggressive driver from getting their way. It's a reminder that sometimes patience and teamwork are the best responses to aggressive behavior. So, what can be learned from the story? First and foremost, it's important to remember that road rage never ends well. Whether you're the one driving aggressively or just someone caught in the crossfire, the best thing to do is stay calm and avoid escalating the situation. The drivers in the story did exactly that. They kept their cool, stuck together, and refused to let the road rage's bad behavior affect their own. Another key takeaway is the power of collective action. In this case, it wasn't just one driver who stood up to the road rage, it was a whole group of drivers working together to block the aggressive driver from cutting in. This kind of teamwork is rare on the road, but when it happens, it can make a huge difference. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the best way to deal bully on the road or anywhere else is to stand together and refuse to let them get their way. In the end, this story serves as a satisfying example of karma catching up with a road rager. It's a reminder no matter how fast or aggressive someone drives, they're not above the rules of the road. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more road justice stories like this. And hey, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Stay out there safe and keep driving responsibly.